I'm so happy you're here to make Paska with me today. This is a simple recipe. I tried many old Ukrainian versions, but I wanted to share something that works well for me every time. In a large clean bowl, start by mixing together all ingredients but the flour. You could proof your yeast ahead of time in warm water, but it's not necessary. Just make sure everything is well mixed before adding the flour. Now would be the time to add any additional aromatics you might want to use. Sometimes I enjoy orange zest or a lemon zest, or you could even do something like an almond flavoring. At this point, add in your flour. Depending on the humidity where you live, you may need a little less than the recipe calls for. Dump your dough onto a clean work surface. You could use a stand mixer with a dough hook from this point forward, but I like to use my hands. It's going to feel shaggy, and it'll take some time to get the dough where we want it to be, but we'll get there. Before your dough gets too far along, add the raisins. You could add toasted nuts or seeds. Your tendency could be to want to push your fingers into the dough, but really it's about using your palms and pushing down into the table as you push away from you. I find it important to discover a rhythm as a form of meditation. Allow yourself to relax and don't try to rush the process. Avoid using too much flour here, just enough to keep the dough from sticking to your work surface. You'll know your dough is ready for proofing when it has a really nice soft feel to it, and when you push your finger in just a bit, it'll bounce back. Lightly butter a large clean bowl. You're going to let this dough double in size over the next 90 minutes, so just make sure there's enough room. Add the dough ball. I like to turn it over a bit in the butter to keep it from sticking to the towel. Cover and set it in a warm place away from any drafts. For Ukrainians, it's important to keep the home calm while the dough is rising. After about an hour and a half, your dough should have risen significantly. Sprinkle some flour onto your clean work surface and gently pull out your dough. At this point, it should be soft, warm, and airy. Remember to use a light touch here. If you work it too much, you'll lose the benefit of that first rise. Ukrainians often decorate the top of Paska. If you'd like to do so, now is the time to set aside a small section of dough. While we're waiting on the second rise, I'll show you how to shape your decorations. This amount of dough can be used for one loaf or for many. We're going to cut this to size, and it needs to fit exactly half of the buttered baking pans you're using. Traditional Paska is round, has lots of height, and a beautiful shiny dome on top, and the second rise will help ensure that. Let's start by rolling out some strands of dough to braid. I'm making mine about 1 foot or 30 centimeters in length. As you can see, I put some flour down. If your dough doesn't need it, I would skip this dusting to keep your strands from drying out. Once you have at least 3 strands, cut them all to the same length. Press all 3 together at the start and begin braiding, securing the end by pressing the 3 strands together and tucking under. Once you have your braids ready, cover and set them aside until the rise on your bread is complete. Then mix up an egg wash and grab a pastry brush. The egg wash will help the decoration stick to the top of the risen bread, and it will give you that beautiful shiny crust after baking. Once the decorations are in place, thoroughly brush everything with your egg wash, making sure to get in the nooks and crannies. Here are just a couple more ideas that you could use to decorate the top of your Paska. Baking times will vary depending on the pans that you chose to use. Bake the bread until the top is very rich golden brown and an internal temperature reaches 190 degrees Fahrenheit or 88 degrees Celsius. Remove the bread carefully from the oven and let it cool for a full 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, pop the bread out of its pan, place it on a cooling rack, and cool it completely before cutting and serving.